everybody, welcome back to my channel. Mia here. Today's video is going to be the books that I started reading during January, but for one reason or another did not get to finish. I started reading a lot of things in January. I was kind of all over the place and I was just inspired to pick up book after book after book, and it just was not possible to read all of the books that I picked up. However, I did have an amazing reading month, which I'll tell you more about during the wrap-up for January. The first book that I'll talk about is one that I honestly don't think I'll continue reading, at least not for now. I think I'm gonna put it away just because I don't really see the point to read it anymore. And that book is the Mayo Clinic Guide to a Healthy Pregnancy book. I was supposed to read this book before having the baby. I had bought it before even being pregnant with the intention of reading it before becoming pregnant and being prepared for what is to come once I became pregnant. However, it didn't work out that way. I just never got into this book, and I did started it at the beginning of the month because I had all the intention of reading it and finishing it by the end of the month, but it didn't happen. The information that it has is very valuable, is very interesting if you're pregnant or if you're expecting to become pregnant, but it's written in a textbook format and it's just very dense, and I don't know, I didn't get into it. I read about 30 pages and then I put it down and I kept glancing at it like I wanted to pick it up, but I kept coming up with excuses as to why I shouldn't pick it up. Oh, because I'm reading this book, I need to finish that book. And in the end, I never picked it up again. At this point, since it's pretty much entirely about pregnancy, what to expect, what to do, and I'm pretty much done with my pregnancy. I should be having the baby. My due date is the 11th of February, but the baby could come a week before and it could come a week after. So any time from now, pretty much, the baby could come. At this point, there's just no way I can finish this book in a couple of days, and I don't know if the information it will have will be necessarily useful for me anymore. So I'm not going to continue reading this book during February. Excuse me. I am going to put it down, and I don't know, who knows, I might read it in the future just for curiosity purposes. Or I might hold on to it, and who knows, if I do end up having another baby in the future, I can read it then. Maybe I'll give it to somebody if a friend becomes pregnant. I don't know what to do with it, but I don't think I'm going to continue reading it for now. On the other hand, I do plan on finishing reading during February The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. I picked this book sometime at the beginning of January, but since I had so many books started, there were other books that I really prioritized, so I ended up putting this one down, and I read it a few times throughout the month, but I didn't make that much progress with it as I thought I would. Pretty much at the very beginning, I was having a little bit of a adjustment challenge when it came to the writing. It's beautiful, it is gorgeous writing, but it just took me a minute to get into it because it feels almost like a classic book. I mean, I'm not saying the writing is necessarily overly floral or anything like that. I think it's beautiful writing, but it just is not a writing that I've been reading a lot of, so it took me a minute to get into it. However, now that I'm into the writing and I'm into the story, I'm really starting to enjoy it. I am close to 200 pages, I think. 134 pages. So I'm still quite early in the book. This is a big book, it's over 800 pages. So it's a little bit of a chunker. But I think I'll definitely be able to finish it during February. I hope so, at least. So I do plan on continuing reading this one. I've been enjoying it the last couple times I picked it up. A smaller book that I should definitely finish reading soon is Owls in the Family by Farley Mowat. This is a middle grade book. It's very short. It's pretty much a little novella. It's less than 100 pages. So when I picked it up, I thought I'll finish this book in literally an hour. I just was not in the mood for reading. I actually picked it up today and I try to read some from each of these books that I'll mention here today. Today is the 30th of January. I will not be reading anything at all tomorrow, the 31st. I have a lot of things to do, errands and doctor's appointments, and I know I won't have time, so I don't plan on reading anything for the remainder of the month. But I tried. I read the first 3 chapters and I don't know, I couldn't get into it. It was just, I was not in the mood for reading, pretty much. I tried several different books and nothing was pleasing me, so I decided to not force myself, just put it down, finish reading it later on. But I'll definitely finish it in February. Like I said, it's a tiny book. For some reason, I'm not in the mood to read today. I don't know why. Another book that I didn't finish was Crystal Power, Crystal Healing. This was one of the nonfiction books that I wanted to read during January. I did make some progress on it. I'm about halfway. I'm on page 204. I am really enjoying the subject. I think it's very interesting. I have always been very much intrigued by the, healing power of crystals, and I've always wanted to know more of how that works and what crystals are known to be helpful in what areas of healing. So I've been very intrigued by the topic of this book. The subject fascinates me. However, the book itself has a textbook format and is written like a textbook, so although it is very interesting, it's very informative, very educating, I just have a harder time reading it because I read a little bit of it and then I start to kind of get sleepy. There's so many details and so much information that I want to retain because I find the information interesting, but it's just one of those books that's going to take me a little longer to finish. That's pretty much it. The author does a great job at covering all the bases. This is by Michael Ganger. He is no longer with us, but to this day he is still known as one, if not the most knowledgeable person about gemstones and crystals and their healing abilities. So he is really good at what he did. He was really good at what he did, and he really tries to simplify as much as possible all the information while still giving you everything that you need in order to truly understand how it works and be educated on the subject. So very detailed. He starts with how minerals are formed, how crystals are formed. He also covers the chemistry inside each mineral and inside each crystal, and how that has a huge influence as to what exactly that crystal is going to be able to heal. So he really goes into details, and like I said, very interesting, just very dense with information. And after reading a few pages, I just start to kind of doze off, and I don't want to miss out on the information that's been given to me. So at that point I decide to put it down, wait until my mind is a little bit more refreshed, and then I come back. So it's gonna take me a little bit, but I think I can definitely finish reading it. I have like 200 something pages left, so I should definitely be able to finish reading this during February. And the last book that I started reading during January that did not finish is Grimm's Complete Fairytales. And the reason why I'm not going to finish this on February nor on March, and possibly not even for a few more months, because I am going to be reading this very slowly. There are a whole lot of fairy tales here. This is a pretty big book, and I just want to read it slow. I don't really want to just read all the fairy tales at once. I want to read it slowly. So I'm only reading about 1 to 2 fairy tales a week or so, depending on how short the fairy tale is, although most fairy tales that I've read so far are very, very short. I am really enjoying them. It's just gonna take me a little while, but I'm still reading it. I do plan on reading it throughout February, here and there, and that is the very last book that I didn't finish reading during January. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. That's pretty much what I'm currently reading and what I, started reading but did not finish during last month, or technically this month, but about to be last month. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I shall see you again very soon in another one. Thanks for watching. Bye.